Hi there, I'm Kristy Chase with The Debt Strategy, and I wanted to come to you today and talk to you about a really fun way that you can actually make some extra money, put it in your pocket. Now, it's a little bit different in that you've got to put a little bit more work into it and some time, but I actually did this several years ago. My gosh, it's been probably maybe 18 years, but it was a lot of fun, and I thought that I would share that with you. So what I did was I actually chartered a bus, and we went out to Atlantic City. And I made about $800 for one night worth of work. Really, it wasn't one night worth of work, though. It was about 5 weeks worth of work that went into one night. But I had so much fun. And so it's a great money-making idea if it's something you'd like to put together. First of all, you're going to want to pick a date. And make sure you have a backup date in case there's a rain date, there's an emergency, you can't go. Contact about 4 or 5 different bus companies and find out their cost, their availability. You want to do a contract so that it says exactly what you want it to say. You don't want to go through all this work and then find out it falls through the cracks. Then what you want to do is contact several of the casinos in Atlantic City. You want to let them know what it is that you're doing and that you're coming with a group. And ask them if they have any deals. When I went, they had rebates that they could give you back, $15 per person, sometimes $20 per person, depending on the time of the year that you go. They also had meal tickets, so I would have $7 or $5 or $10 for each person for a meal ticket, and then $10, $15, or $20 to give them to cash out in tokens so that they could get started spending. Determine your pickup and drop-off locations and times, and you got to definitely keep in mind the amount of time it takes to get from point A to point B. Make sure that it allows your guests to park their cars there, a supermarket or a mall or someplace, but you want to make sure that nobody's going to get a ticket, their vehicle is going to be safe. And it's a good idea to ask permission from the property owner or the manager before just leaving your cars there, because you definitely want to make sure tickets aren't had, because they're going to look to you if they are. Now, the whole point of this being a fundraiser, either for a group of yours or for yourself, is you want to calculate and sell the seats on the bus. So to begin, you want to get the total price for the bus. That's going to include not only the cost of the bus, any gas that you have to pay for, gratuity for the driver, tolls, anything that you have to pay out of pocket. And then you want to divide that by the number of seats you're going to sell. So for example, if the total cost of the bus is $1,200, including all the expenses, there's going to be about 50 seats on the bus, so the price per seat equals around $24. Well, then you got to determine how much profit that you want to make. For example, say you want to make $1,000 profit on the bus. Divide $1,000 by 50 seats, and that's the profit. So that would be like $20 per seat. And then, of course, you got to add on $24 for the seat cost plus $20 your profit is going to be $44 cost per seat. But when you advertise it, you want to say, okay, the seats are $44, but you get the rebate of 10, 20, however much money they're going to get back between any token rebates and food rebates, and let them know, if it's $44, that is only going to end up costing them, $20. And you want to put all this on a flyer. Now, you want to be really creative in distributing your flyers. You want to make sure you include your organization's name and on any of the distribution materials. Now, if it's just yourself, you don't have to say that it's an organization. Just say, hosted by, John Smith or whoever you are. On top of that, when you end up preparing something like this, there's a particular date by which you need to pay the bus company for a deposit to make sure that you secure it. If you haven't made any sales by that point in time, you have a couple of weeks before you can let go of that reservation and maybe start over. So it gives you a little bit of a safety net. We went from like 6 in the evening where everybody met and we picked up everyone, and we'd get there at like 11. We would have the time in Atlantic City at the casinos from 11 p.m. until 5 a.m. when we were to meet back at the bus and drive back home, and we'd be back home by about 9 o'clock in the morning. So it was kind of an all-nighter, but it was so much fun. I had a blast. So here's a couple of things that you definitely want to keep in mind. Go for a company that is going to talk to you. Go online and look up a couple of companies. I have a couple of names. I like busbank.com and uscoachways.com. I especially like them because they have a lot of things that they do. Not only do they go to Atlantic City, this is just one idea. You can actually do this and go anywhere you want. You can take a trip to Six Flags and make it available to all of your children's friends and sell the tickets. Of course, you've got to take on that liability if you do that. But, just in planning something, you can go anywhere you want. I know, for example, US Coachways, they go to New York, Atlantic City. They go to any major city. And there are times during the year when there's different events going on. For example, in May, they go to Delaware for the Captain John Smith Voyage celebration. I think that's an annual event. In August, they do Sandy Point, Idaho. Every year, there's a music theater celebration. They've got live performances, jazz, rock, any kind of music, you name it. So there's different things like that. I mean, you can pull a group of people together for any particular event. Or I like the Atlantic City event because you can do that 2, 3, 4 times a year whenever you feel like putting it together. And depending on the time of the year that you go, the casinos will have higher or lower rebates. You know, you don't just have to go for a casino. In those areas, they have casinos, they have restaurants, other sightseeing opportunities. They have golfing, festivals, amusement parks, zoos, and aquariums. So there's so much to go for, and you don't just have to do the casino. That's just one idea. But you can charter a bus, plan it out, sell the seats by advertising it, collect the money, set up the bus yourself, and go and have a blast. It is absolutely phenomenal. And people will remember you for that. They'll go on your next trip. And you can actually go on social media and go far beyond just putting flyers out in your local community. You can go on your Facebook page and you can do an event and invite everybody that you know. Ask them to invite people that they know. You can do Facebook ads where you advertise only to people within a certain area to go on that trip. It's a pretty neat thing, and a lot of people have a lot of fun doing it. Please make sure you do your due diligence in doing a trip like this. Make sure that a company has, insurance. Like I love this U.S. Coachways. They've got over $10 million in insurance on a trip like that. So if something were to happen, you want to make sure the company is legitimate, the buses are safe. They always have air conditioning on the bus. They've got bathrooms on the bus. What we used to do is take food, would make up sandwiches and chips and little things like that we could do a whole bunch, and we'd do little brown bags. And we would use 4 of the seats for the coolers and drinks, and we would go to the grocery store and get some cola drinks and get cases of them and water. And we would have a bag made for everybody on the bus. Now this obviously took time, but it was phenomenal. People loved it. During that 4-hour time, people want to have a snack. And then we would have a DVD so people could either sleep or watch the movie. And then you can even do games or a 50-50 raffle, which is in another one of my videos as a fundraiser. But it was really neat because we did that for collecting money for the bus, as well as someone on the bus was going to win that. So it was a really great way to combine a different thing. That bus trip, not only did I make $800 for that night, I was able to make an extra $200 on a 50-50 raffle. So if you want to know about that, go back and see one of my other videos. But hopefully this was helpful. It's a money-making idea just to help you put cash in your pocket so that you can eliminate your debt today so you can focus on your wealth tomorrow. Take care.